Do you know the difference between filtration and crystallization? Imagine you are an engineer tasked with purifying a chemical mixture worth millions. One wrong move, and you've ruined the entire sample. First, we need to draw a hard line between physical and chemical separation. Physical separation is your no-reaction zone. It works exclusively on mixtures where substances are physically combined, but not chemically bound together. Think of it like sorting a bag of mixed coins. You can pick them apart without changing what they are. Chemical separation, on the other hand, is for compounds. If you want to pull elements apart from a compound, you'll need a chemical reaction, like reduction or electrolysis. For today, we are staying purely in the physical realm. To speak the language of the examiner, you have to master your state symbols. These are your primary diagnostic clues. S for solid and G for gas are straightforward, but the real trick is knowing the difference between L for liquid and AQ for aqueous. A liquid is a pure substance in its melted form, but aqueous means it's dissolved in water. Keep a close eye on these in your exam papers. They tell you exactly which technique to reach for. So, how do we decide which tool to use? It all comes down to the solubility test. If you have a mixture of a solid and a liquid, ask yourself, does the solid dissolve? If the answer is no, the solid is insoluble and we use filtration. If the answer is yes, the solid is soluble, and we head toward crystallization. This one question is the key to unlocking the entire topic. Let's look at filtration in action. Imagine a mixture of silver chloride and water. Because silver chloride is insoluble, it remains as suspended particles. We pour the mixture into our filtration apparatus. The liquid that passes through is called the filtrate, while the solid trapped in the paper is our residue. But what's happening at the microscopic level? Think of your filter paper as a physical barrier with tiny pores. These pores are large enough to let water molecules slip through, but too small for the solid silver chloride particles to pass. It's a game of size. The paper acts like a gatekeeper, physically trapping the larger solid structures. Now, what if the solid is invisible? Take sodium chloride, common table salt, dissolved in water. It's aqueous, so filtration won't help us here. Instead, we use crystallization. By evaporating the water over time, we shift the state symbol from aqueous back to solid. As the liquid disappears, the salt molecules are forced together, leaving beautiful solid crystals behind. You have two choices for evaporation, the slow road or the fast road. Natural evaporation is safe but takes days. Gentle heating with a Bunsen burner accelerates the process, but you have to be careful. Some chemicals are thermally unstable. If you heat them too much, they'll break down before they ever form crystals. It's a delicate balance of speed versus risk. To wrap it all up, let's look at the separation matrix. If your target is insoluble, go filtration. If it's soluble, go crystallization. One uses a physical barrier, the other uses a state change. Filtration is immediate, while crystallization speed depends on your heat application. Memorize this grid, and you'll never second-guess your answers again. Before you go, here's a pro exam tip. Always check for the word precipitate in a question. It's a hidden clue that a solid has formed, and you probably need filtration. Separation techniques are high-yield marks on your paper, so keep practicing that decision tree. If this helped you clear up the confusion, hit that like button and stay curious. Dive deeper into the world of chemistry with more lessons, notes, and exciting content at chemverse.de.